Hello and welcome to the Commander's Quarters. I'm your host Mitch, glad to have you here. Here at the Commander's Quarters, we build fun and inexpensive focused Commander decks. But today's episode is going to be a Commander quick take. On episodes like these, I give you my initial take on a newly spoiled Commander from an upcoming set. I'm going to talk about a potential direction for that Commander and possible cards that you can use for that build. In this show, and episodes like this are possible because of viewers like you. So make sure that you like this episode, subscribe to the channel, and share it with friends. And while you're at it, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any episodes. You can also support this show directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without their support. Another way that you can support the show is by checking out our merchandise on thecommandersquarters.com. And finally, you can support this show by supporting our sponsor, TCG Player. So whenever you're buying a deck or just individual cards, make sure you use our links below. But before we really jump into this, I just want to give a quick disclaimer. On episodes like these, they are just initial quick takes. This Commander is just as new to me as it is to you. And because of that, I don't have a finalized deck built for this Commander yet. So the direction that I choose to take this Commander today might not be the same one that I do in a deck tech. And because of that, some of the cards I'm going to mention might not be in that deck either. Alright, now that we're on the same page, let's get into it. Today's Commander quick take is on Ayula, Queen Among Bears. She's a 2/2 bear that costs 1 and a green. She has whenever another bear enters the battlefield under your control, choose one. Put 2+1/+1 counters on target bear, or target bear you control fights target creature you don't control. Finally, we have a true bear tribal commander. Not only does she have a bear creature type, but she's also a bear in magic terms. This just basically means that she's a 2/2 for 2 mana. On top of that, her abilities are centered around you playing bears. She can make your bears bigger, and then she can also use them to fight to kill other creatures. So you can either stack those counters up onto one creature or to spread them around depending on the situation. There are many people in the Magic community that were very upset with the very first legendary bear commander. Goreclaw is a fantastic commander, but it's not a 2/2 for 2 and it doesn't care about bears. For many people, it just felt like a missed opportunity and a flavor fail. But Ayula is definitely the bear tribal commander that people have been asking for. Although people love the creature type, there actually aren't too many bears out there. Even with 2 new additions from Modern Horizons, there's only 21 total in mono green. So we're pretty much going to be running what we can, including the original grizzly bears. This is actually where the term bear came to be known as a 2/2 for 2. Now this would be a terrible card in pretty much any commander deck. But with Ayula's ability, the fact that most bears are pretty low to the ground becomes very effective. Essentially, it's either 4 power for 2 mana or 2 power in a fight spell. But there are some iterations on bears that are a little more useful. Ashcoat Bear has flash, so we can use it as a combat trick or instant speed removal. And then the newly spoiled Mother Bear can be great in this deck. It's just a 2/2 for 2, but you get value out of it when it dies. You can pay 3 green and exile it from your graveyard to create 2 bears. Although there aren't too many bears in Magic, there are other ways that we can get bears too. Cards with Changeling are technically also bears, so we're going to be running Woodland Changeling, Chameleon Colossus, and Changeling Titan. Chameleon Colossus can actually be a huge threat to our opponents. And since Changeling Titan has to champion a creature, we get an extra enter the battlefield effect when it dies. Outside of actual creatures, there are a decent amount of ways to create bear tokens too. Bear Escape allows us to pay 1 and a green to exile 2 cards from our graveyard to create a bear. This is a fantastic mana sink that we can do at instant speed to great effect. And Words of Wilding allows us to pay 1, and the next time that we would draw a card this turn, instead we create a bear. Green has a decent amount of ways to draw cards, so we could turn those draws into bears instead. And then there's the newly spoiled Ayula's Influence. It allows us to discard lands to create bears. This is a fantastic way to get a lot of value out of dead land cards in our hand. Since there are so few bears out there, we really have to get creative to make this deck work. So we're going to create even more tokens with cards like Druid's Deliverance and Second Harvest. Druid's Deliverance is a fog that populates, so it's going to give us a copy of a token that we control. And then Second Harvest just straight up doubles our tokens. Depending on our board state, this can be a huge play, especially at instant speed. And then a card like Voyager Staff allows us to blink one of our creatures. This is a very flexible card that we can use to protect our commander or to blink one of our bears to get another trigger. Again, since there aren't too many bears out there, this can be a difficult deck to build. But I actually see this as a good thing. First off, it forces us to get creative to make the deck work. And secondly, it pretty much forces us to use actual bears like Grizzly Bear. While bears are nowhere near the most powerful tribe out there, it's definitely going to be a deck that's true to its nature. A bear deck where you're actually running bears that are 2/2s for 2. Something about that just feels right. And as always, with a bigger budget, there are definitely ways that we can improve this deck. Conjurer's Closet is going to get us an extra free enter the battlefield trigger each turn. And then Panharmonicon is going to double up on those triggers. And finally, Door of Destinies is just a fantastic tribal card. Every single time we cast a bear, it makes our bear army even bigger. This deck looks like it's going to be a ton of fun, and I can't wait to brew it. But I really want to hear your thoughts on this take, so why don't you let me know in the comments below. And make sure that you're following us on social media for more updates and sneak peeks on future episodes. Links to our social media accounts can be found in the description. Also in the description below is a link to the Commander's Quarters Patreon page, and I just want to say a quick thank you to the patrons who have subscribed so far. There are many benefits to being a patron for the Commander's Quarters, including being able to vote on future commanders for deck techs. There's even a general level tier where you get your own personalized deck tech dedicated to you. I truly couldn't do this without all of your support, so from the bottom of my heart, thank you. If you haven't already, make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel. And while you're at it, check out some of our other episodes on budget deck techs, Quest for Quarters episodes, Commander topics, and Creators Quarters. And with that, I'm out of here. Thanks again, and have a good one.